stands for us tonight. Hello, Mr. LaFever.
Good evening. You get a call about me today,
No, what were you doing?
re-permitting. Harry,
No, you did not. How'd it go? Charger over here. I have this little charger. I might have enough. That's okay. I'm probably fully charged. Just kidding. Maybe. Maybe not. What's your haircut?
I actually lost it.
High and tight, bring it back.
But we had to make it that way.
Gotcha.
It just wasn't good.
Yeah,
The good news is it'll grow back.
absolutely.
Cindy on vacation.
Cindy is currently at the airport in Philadelphia picking up her family. She's out for the next week and a half.
Mr. LaFever,
good evening.
how are you?
Okay.
It's just gonna be us tonight.
Andy
Yes,
said he
Andy.
thought he'd be
No,
here.
Andy's not going to be here this. week.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
So excited Balor's over there. He's been asking to see him. Ballard, it's been the meeting.
Yeah. No, he won't be here this evening.
Prior to it can- Let me know. Yeah.
And I don't think we can approve the minutes from the last meeting. I wasn't here for that one and
Send it along. Sure. I guess I should get a buzz job and I look younger.
This-
I tell you what, it was so, I got in a fight with the barber and lost. I made him,
I think it looks good. Summertime.
I
all
don't
that
mind. I mean, I used to have it short all the time
stuff. Yeah.
when I was younger,
Yeah.
but that's 30 years ago, not.
Just yesterday.
But my wife hasn't seen it yet. I'm waiting for that.
Here, what's your phone number? I'm gonna You're a heads up.
Okay, you ready?
Mhm.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the East Hempfield Township Traffic Commission. If you would please join me and rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Now the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with with liberty and justice for all. Up first on our agenda, we have the Landis Farms Wheatland Vista traffic signage.
Up here. So I'm not completely sure how it came back up again, but previously at a traffic commission meeting a couple of years ago, there had been discussion about the sign plan that was approved for Wheatfield Vista and Landis Farms. And it was recognized that there are. Can't do two things at once. Hold on. There we go. There are no parking signs approved for Wheatfield Vista. Perry, do you have any further details on how we got to this today?
I do not, I don't know that there was any questions about it. I know I looked at them and they are there as per plan. There were questions years ago as to whether they were needed. I know we did remove some from other streets in that development, but I did not hear a request for that on this particular street.
So can we, I mean, what's driving this? Is there?
This is they are dedicating the street, and the first part of that is to actually accept the sign plan as part of the land development plan and dedication process.
Okay. So I think if I remember correctly from this, that we had neighbors and after the streets were dedicated to complain that there was no parking.
Wanted parking.
They wanted parking along the street, and I guess the plan didn't allow for it at that time. I mean, I guess we could go back and research it. Tonight, are we just approving are they modifying anything? What are they?
No, I believe Perry, the signs are installed as listed on the plan, correct?
Yes, they are just actually asking approval from the traffic commission for acceptance so that they can be enforced after we take dedication, which I believe is in the Board of Supervisors meeting agenda for acceptance of those streets.
Tonight,
Is that on for tonight?
No, that is not on tonight's agenda.
Okay, then it may be on
That may be July.
next month. Yeah, but this is the first step of accepting dedication of the streets, is taking over the signs. And then they will ask for dedication of the streets. I'm hoping at the next meeting.
How long have the signs been up?
They've been up for probably, I'm gonna say at least a year. I know they were up before they put the finished paving on the street, so.
So these residents are not requesting the removal.
No, I have not heard any complaints for this one, and we have that on several other of the streets in the development. I'm not sure it was just why that one block that did not want them.
okay. And Perry, do we allow parking so that I'm clear at all on the streets on this?
Yes, one side of the street has parking and one side does not.
Okay,
All the no parking is on the inside of the curve. And then the outside of the curve allows parking. Next side of the street.
There's not a lot of space between driveways to have parking, but be that as it may, that's what's there. So,
Yeah, I think this was a consideration given for the smaller streets. Back when I guess they were doing this land development plan, Mr. Russell was sort of adamant about, smaller streets. And we went to this skinnier street, and which necessitated having, no parking on one side. So plows and garbage trucks and stuff could get through.
right. Okay.
So
I have no issues. Do you, Mr. LaFever?
no, let sleeping dogs lie, as it were.
Okay.
So then perhaps just a motion to accept the sign plan as provided this evening.
All right. Any comments from the audience or on Zoom for this?
No one on Zoom.
Okay. So I will make a motion that we accept the sign plan as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion by the chair, second by Mr. LaFever. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 2-0. Thank you. Up next, traffic report.
Are you going to table the minutes?
Yes, I'm sorry. We are going to table the minutes. Traffic reports, any comments from staff or any highlights you wanted to?
Truck route project. We had a meeting on June 8th, and we actually have another one scheduled for
July 28th.
July with West Hempfield to review and go over the truck route study.
Okay,
We continued our enforcement efforts on various roads throughout the township, also spending a lot of time with the detour that's now in place on Church Street with some preventative measures there. But we also do have some speed studies as a result of an ongoing list. But as far as the actual report itself, not much else to hit on.
Is that report available?
You can, you should be able to
You
click
should
on
be
it
able
in
to-
your
a link.
agenda.
are you talking about the truck study or the traffic report?
I'm talking about the truck study.
Oh, I'm
The
sorry.
truck study is not yet a public document. It'll be reviewed at the meeting between the Public Works Group and the West Hempfield Township Supervisors as they had input
All
before
right,
it's released to the
okay.
public.
Well. Very well.
Okay, any other comments on the traffic report? Okay. Moving on to the traffic studies, on the agenda, as you can see. Mr. LaFever, do you have any comments on the studies that were done on South Colebrook?
No, thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody here that wanted to discuss the traffic study on South Colebrook? On Barber Street? Is there anyone here who wanted to discuss traffic study on Barber Street? Okay. Orville Road. Is there anyone here who wanted to discuss the traffic study on Orville Road? Okay. None. On Knolt Road, anyone here who wanted to discuss the traffic study that was done on Knolt Road?
Well, it's significantly higher than what it should be. The speed.
Yeah, in the 3200 block, yes.
Supposed to be 25 and
So I do believe part of this is, when was this done, the study done for Knoll?
The Knolt Road was
The second week of May.
Was that,
May 22nd through the 28th was, I'm sorry, that was spinning battery.
Like the 12th to the 22nd, 18th.
that's when we had the
Yeah, May
Church
8th,
Street closure.
yeah, May 8th through the 14th
that would have been before the Church Street closure?
before.
So I'm assuming that we're going to be focusing a little bit more on that stretch, or is there something we can do for enforcement and education?
We give that stretch a pretty good amount of attention as
Okay.
is near the sod farm.
Okay,
So we'll continue to do that. We are aware with the detour in place that the volume of traffic has increased.
Right.
But
That's the
also
right-
school not in session, it almost is a counterbalance because now the school traffic isn't
right.
using it. So
I believe that's the area right at the sod farm.
that, the device was set up in the area of Hermosa and Harriet.
Right at the base
So
of the hill.
just east of the sod farm
So it's actually probably catching people coming down the
down the
hill.
hill.
Yeah. Okay.
Stony Battery Road. Anybody here for Stony Battery Road? Okay. All right, under old businesses, we previously discussed, we do have a truck study that's being reviewed by staff and West Hempfield Township. Any new business? Okay, any public comment? Yes, for traffic. Okay, if you just come up and give your name so that we can have it for them.
Okay. My name is Cindy Roberts and I reside at 986 Nisley Road. And I do have a couple questions. One of my main focus today is speeding on Nisley Road between Knoll and Centerville Road. And the last time I was here, I brought up about that too. I guess, and the truck signs that are on Centerville Road kind of play into this too. So I wanted to ask a question. Why are the signs on Centerville Road, why are they posted as to no through truck traffic?
So some of those signs are not township signs. Some of those are just, I think a few neighbors have gotten together that don't want any truck traffic on Centerville Road. And they put up signs along within the right of way there. And I just don't think anybody's taking them down, or either that or they're on private property, people that don't want trucks. We are in the midst of doing a truck study in conjunction with West Hempfield Township, looking at the north-south traffic, how to best get trucks through the township. So we're hoping to come up with a more concrete plan and long-term plans on how to address that here in the future. So that's what staff was talking about here earlier. They're going to be meeting with West Hempfield Township as well. And they're going to be bringing some information back to us at some point to look at.
Is there any way the signs that are posted on
Mhm.
Centerville Road, they're finding their way onto Nisley Road and then as I cut through up to Centerville. And a lot of the vehicles I see are ones that are going down to that construction that's on Centerville Road right now.
Mhm.
So if you could at least take a look at that as you're doing the traffic study, I would appreciate that because like I'm home all day, so. And I see it all the time. And so now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get pictures. I had talked to Perry about this and I'm going to try and take my phone out and get pictures of things that, because I almost got hit the other week and I had called Perry and told him I was so upset. That wasn't a construction vehicle. That was just a regular truck with like an empty trail bed or something. And he was coming down there pretty good from Knoll Road and the trailer bounced around and I was at the mailbox and I can't move real fast because I'm going to have my knee replaced in my shoulder, but I moved as fast as I could. It scared me to death. And so I called him because if I would have just left it going, then I wouldn't have been as upset. So I called him and that's what he told me to do. So that's what I'm going to try to do, try to get pictures of vehicles that, you know, and I don't know if that'll help or not, but the speed is excessive. And I did take notice that you guys did do a study a year ago on Nisley Road. And I'm not sure where that you put I don't know what you use, if you use a wire across the road or what, but it was like 18,000 cars went by in a 6-day period. And it said that the average speed was like 33 miles an hour, but that's all changed. That was a year ago. This year is horrible. I can tell you that. I've been here over 20 years. I've been living here and I've never seen traffic as bad as that. They're even honking at people walking on the roadway now, like get out of my way, you know? Couple young girls last week that happened to, and that's not the only time. So they're getting aggressive. And when you guys were talking about Knoll Road, I actually go down that way to go to Wise, and there was a truck that got right up on my bumper and passed me on the double line. So I don't know if you guys have seen any of that kind of behavior or not. That's happened to me a couple times on Knoll Road. So, I guess what I'm asking is there any way we can do another study from a year ago? Because I guarantee you that there's more than 18,000 cars in a
Okay,
6-day
well,
period.
hold on.
Okay,
So what, can we go back and take
Yeah,
a,
sure. I pulled it up. We did speed studies in both June and July of last year. We'd done on the 900 block.
and what did we find?
So we found in June, you want like speeds or volume of traffic?
I'm not really concerned about the volume right now,
Okay.
more about the speeding.
Sure. So let me just highlight here, make sure. 85th percentile was 37 and 50 percentile 33.
So 33 miles an hour and 37 miles an hour, and the posted speed limit there
Is
is
25.
25, okay. And
The construction site that you mentioned,
it's on Centerville Road, right past CVS is where a lot of
oh,
that's taking
okay,
place.
okay,
Yeah,
sure. Okay, thank you.
yep, mm-hmm.
so, I mean, we're not insensitive to your plight here, but our resources are limited. The study that she's citing, is not out of line for what we have in other areas. Right now, we have some actually bigger issues. Right now, you are going to see some more increased traffic because we also have, as you know, Church Street has a detour. Centerville Road is under construction right now, and if traffic can avoid that, they're going to.
Yeah, the volume doesn't really bother me. It's the speed. And I can
Mhm.
tell you, if you did one a year ago, it has drastically changed. I'm still there. And I see it every day because I'm out working in the yards and stuff, especially when the weather's nice. Wintertime, I can't guarantee you. I see them, I can't, but when I'm outside, I know. I don't even dare go near, I mean, my mailbox, I check from the other side because they come down there so fast that the wind, I mean, it just literally blows you away. And I am not by any means, I'm not exaggerating. I can tell you that day scared me to death, that I almost got hit, and I'm just afraid somebody else is gonna get it. So, I mean, if you have more pressing issues, I get that. But what I don't understand is that block of Nisley, when I came up here to this township building today, from Knoll Road to this township building, I seen 25 mph and slow written on the streets, on the roads on my way up here. And why is that so different than my block of Nisley Road? Does it seem like my block of Nisley Road is treated differently?
There's an incline there that contributes to speed, and I believe that's how we tried to make drivers aware in that steeper section, if I'm same place you were referring.
Are you talking about Turkey Hill or? I'm
No,
not sure if
no.
I,
Talking about the block from Bowman Road south. There's an incline. And that's where I think we put the markings on the road.
there's a couple different ones, yeah, that I noticed when I came up through today. They look rather new.
They're new because the road was just paved.
Oh, okay.
So they're all.
I
on-
didn't see
they're on
them
the-
before. That's
yeah.
why I took notice.
They're on the
today.
hill on the blind curve.
Okay, okay. And like when you guys do these speed things, where do you typically do them? Is it near Turkey Hill? Because I know on that report, it said the cars coming down the hill were going slower than the ones going up the hill. Is that typically where you do the,
So we can move the box, they're little boxes that we place out.
Okay.
We can move them anywhere on roads. We just have to affix them to a pole
Mhm.
or a speed sign or something to that effect.
because I have a
So-
pole at the corner of my house. It's a road sign. And I'm telling you, right in that area where I live, there at Nisley and Randy Road is where you're gonna get the speeders. It's not gonna be up by the church because that's where the cops typically would sit. So as they're coming down the hill, they know they sit there so they don't go so fast. But once they hit that, then they go. And then you can tell when they come down from the other way, from Nolt Road down, that they come down, I mean, it's like they put on the gas and then when they get at the curve, you can see them braking because they're not sure if there's gonna be a cop car sitting there or not, because
Right.
normally there would be. So what I'm saying is if it's placed in the right place, you're gonna get a true reading. Because I wouldn't be here at this meeting and wouldn't keep coming and telling you guys if it wasn't so. So-
I will say that, you were here in February
Mhm.
and police department had a lot of enforcement visibility efforts. I have statistics on number of times we were up there, hours that we were up there, number of cars that we stopped. We do typically hang out in the area of the church,
Mhm.
for a couple different reasons, mainly visibility for us,
Mhm.
as well as vehicle placement where it's safe.
Mhm.
We have to be a little cognizant of where we're stopping cars.
Mhm.
And if we're gonna have more than one cruiser there to clock and chase, the ability to stage cars in a safe manner. So our hands are tied slightly with geographically where we can do various enforcement efforts. Where you're talking, there's the slight curve approaching Randy.
Church, yeah.
Yeah, right. So after the church. So we've often found that the straight stretch and coming down the hill is typically where cars are going a little bit faster because they may have to slow down to go around the curve by your
And
place.
sometimes they
So,
don't. Sometimes
right.
they'll go so fast that there's a car up there and they have to slow down because there's a car that's going a little bit
So-
slower than them and then they'll ride right. I can't even back into my driveway without somebody and I turn my turn signal on and way ahead of time. And so when I put my reverse lights on, they get angry with me. They blow their horn, they give me the finger. I can't even back into my driveway. I
Well-
mean, it's just getting really aggressive.
Well, what we will certainly do is continue our efforts and we'll try and move down your way a little bit more, with the detours and
I
stuff.
even
And
offered up my driveway, not this past February, but in the past, because I'm the only one that's home during the day. I've even offered up my driveway for a
Okay.
car to sit there. And I mean, that's just how bad I.
that's good to know.
And you had, I think, offered a resident off of Stony Battery Road the opportunity to,
Yes, more than happy to.
because I think a lot of times what happens is when we're standing outside, and the same for me, a young kid goes by in a car and it seems fast, but in reality, he may only be going 30 miles an hour. But because of where he is in proximity to me, the speed seems higher. And I think
Do-
it was very helpful, right, for that,
Was.
that particular
So-
neighbor.
So what Mr. Wigglesworth is indicating is we have a device that we use to clock vehicles, sometimes called an NRAD unit, which we can set out. It's 2 3-foot saddles that go across the road. And for a woman on Stony Battery, I operated the unit and allowed her to hang outside the car, sit with me, whatever she wanted, and see the speeds herself. So it kind of gave her reset her perspective
Mhm.
of what the speeds were and how fast the cars looked. So I have no doubt, when live on a 25 road, it's narrow. I have absolutely no doubt in everything that you're saying. After the meeting, if you want to give me your phone number and you would like to do that, I'd be more than happy to, either myself or one of the officers can set up the unit and we can, try and do a detail more towards your block and allow you to view and participate
Yeah,
and take a
I would
look.
do
So,
that. Mhm.
okay.
And then the other thing is, okay. It's certain times of the day too. It's not all day long. I can tell you it's like 7:30 to 9:30. And then I can tell you it's about 11:30 to 2:30. And then in the evening, it's around 3 to maybe 5:30. That's when you're gonna find the heavy, and that's when I find all the fast cars. I can tell a difference between someone going over the speed limit and someone not. Because at those times, they're going pretty fast. I mean, and I know if they're clocked, they're going well over 25. I mean, not just that, I'm looking at it and I know I'm not clocking them. So, I mean, I have no evidence to go by, how fast they really are going. But those are the times that it's the worst. And when school's in, that's exactly the time the kids, are getting home. And, but yeah, I just, it's getting aggressive. And like I said, they're blowing horns at people and I have trouble getting in my driveway. I don't like backing out because that hill up there, when they come across Note Road, they just put on the gas and then you don't see them till the last minute. So that's why I back into my driveway, because at least when I'm pulling out, I can see a little bit better. So, but yeah, that's my major qualm
Okay.
for the traffic.
Okay. Well, I have your email,
Oh, okay.
so I can
And I have a,
reach out to you.
okay, that sounds good. I have another question. Verizon, and I just noticed it was them yesterday. They came through and they were cutting branches off the trees away from the wires, which typically, if it's them or somebody else, it may be because they're different wires, different companies. And yesterday I was a little upset because they came through, they cut these branches and they took the branch part of it, but all the debris that fell in the middle of the road, they left lay. And when you get the cars going this way, what do you think happens? It goes all over the neighborhood. And I did call Verizon and I did complain to them too. But I did call Perry and I told him when it was happening, and I have it on video because we have cameras. And so I have it on video, but I just wanted to let you guys know, and I don't know if you have any way of, requirements for businesses that work along the roads in this township, not just my road, but I'm sure they're doing it at other places. But that was another one of my issues. And then I think I have one more.
Cindy, I did call Verizon today too. I did get your message. I didn't get a chance to call you back today, but
Oh, okay.
I left their foreman know that we were unhappy with, the mess that they left. So
Okay.
I hope that helps, but we'll see.
Yeah, I called them yesterday and I talked to one of the operators, whoever it was, and it was they record your conversation. And so he was going to send my recording onto that part of whoever takes care of that part. He apologized dearly. And I said, well, it's not your fault. But yeah, that's what they said they were going to do for me anyway. So, but I called them as well. So. And then my last question is, are there any requirements for open bed trailers when people pull them and they have debris on there or dirt, even if it's a dump truck, or are they required to cover this stuff or not? Or isn't there any kind of a rule?
You can't lose your load. So if you are losing lots of mulch and dirt and so on and so forth,
Okay.
it's not required to necessarily transport, but if your load starts to fall off, that causes a problem.
Okay, because I've had already trucks come down with open bed and they have tree branches and stuff like that on, and then it ends up falling off. And by the time I get out there, they're long gone. So you have no alternative but to clean the mess up yourself, and I had talked to Perry about this before with that, being it's just a heavily traveled road and it happens. But after a while, it's time and time again, you just get so darn tired of cleaning up messes and stuff like that. And I probably seem like a complainer, but the last couple of years I've been complaining more, and I've lived here over 22 years. So I don't think it's too bad. But I didn't know if so you said that they should probably.
They can't lose their load.
They can't
so.
lose their load. Okay, so if I
So
would
whether
get a
it's tied
picture
down
or a
or-
license plate or something, would that help?
Sure,
But,
we
okay.
can see what we can do. You can,
Okay,
Yep.
well, that's what I'm gonna try and do. Every time I
Okay.
go out, I'm gonna take my phone with me and see if I can help out that way. I mean, I don't know how else to stop it. Like I said, we do have cameras. I could check and see.
yeah, I mean, we have to be able to identify drivers to be able to take enforcement efforts, but certainly, we can, if somebody's driving and loses some limbs, we can reach out to the registered owner of the car
Okay, because I've
ad-
already had
advise
dump
them.
trucks come down and like their dirt's piled way high
Mhm.
and it falls off on the road and, you know, to them, it might be a little bit, but me, it's a lot. It's like, till you get it cleaned up, it's a mess. But yeah, that was my last thing. And then from the meeting that I was here in February, I had said about maybe sending flyers out about burning in the township. Now, within the last week or two, I don't think there's been any burning because as dry as it was, I don't know if there was like something issued.
Mhm.
uh,
There was.
Oh, was there?
a burn
Okay.
ban.
Okay, so I haven't seen it like in the last week or two, but it's a problem, where I, and I don't know. This is back in the back development where I live. And, I see quite a few of them burn all the time. So, I had said something about maybe putting something in the mailbox, like, you know, hey, look, as a reminder, please don't burn in the township. We're not allowed to. But I don't know if you guys ever talked about that or if it's a good idea, if it's not a good idea.
We put it in our newsletter regularly, but we can't just put things in mailboxes.
Okay.
We have to pay
But it
the
is-
postage and
okay.
send them out and have them printed. And so
Well,
um,
that's okay
the-
too, if.
the
you know.
burn ordinance is in place and it's enforced as needed by the
Yeah,
police and the
there is,
fire.
there is
so,
burning allowed, so
yeah.
there's
not
an
that there's
ordinance.
no
That's
open.
not that there's no burning.
Okay.
So people are
Um,
allowed to burn.
Oh, they are?
Mhm.
Okay. Does it matter? I mean.
Depends on what it
anything?
is. It has to be in a proper containment system, so on and so forth, but there is burning allowed.
Yes,
I
and we
read
do
that.
allow fire pits
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that sort of
Should
stuff.
be
And
in
I'm
some
assuming that's what
postings.
you're referring to.
Yeah, but they don't only just burn limbs, they burn trash. I can tell by the color of the smoke and the smell. Because blue smoke is not good. But anyway, like I said, I took pictures of that too. I still have pictures on my phone where I took a picture of somebody burning stuff with blue smoke. But when I do come, I guess that's about all I have. Which is a lot, so, but I do appreciate you guys listening and anything that you can do for that part of Nissy. I just feel like we're forgotten sometimes on that block.
Curious what's attracting trucks to that area. Doesn't see, I'm wondering if the restriction on Centerville is pushing the trucks.
Well, we really don't have an enforceable restriction right now on Centerville.
But it says all trucks.
So
Not
I don't,
enforceable,
I mean, I
but
don't think
signs
it's an
are.
issue with tractor trailers and that kind of stuff. I think you have trucks that are probably headed over to
The
Dump
Stoner Farm.
the Stoner Farm,
Yeah,
to
the dump
drop
trailers.
off.
Yep.
Yard debris and stuff. And I don't think at this point you're gonna be able to.
Make a constant monitoring.
So could we put signs up, no through truck traffic?
Well, we gotta let the trucks go somewhere. So,
The road, it's smaller, it's not as big as Center Road. That's what I don't understand.
so again, I think you're misunderstanding. Those signs are not ours that say no trucks.
For residents.
Yeah, they're,
So if resident, I put in my yard, I mean, it's
you can,
different.
yeah, that's your yard. You can put a sign up. It's free speech. But those signs are not enforceable and there's trucks that travel on Centerville Road. That's not,
But I think the through traffic truck means like trucks constantly going to a construction site or whatever, and they do find their way down around Misley Road. I mean, it's a cut through road. And I mean, I think everybody knows that here. You know, it is. That part of Misley Road is a cut through road. And if you guys really want, it is. I mean, it's not a big deal.
ma'am, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be blunt right now. I don't quite see the problem and you had a laundry list of things here. And we
that's the problem.
do, okay, well, I understand that, but I do think, we're aware of what you're talking about. You have a concern about traffic volume. Right now, we do have some detours in the area that are probably causing some increased traffic your way. Okay, well, I tell you what, you've had way over 3 minutes. We've heard you and thank you. Do we have anything else right now for the good of the order? Okay. Hearing none, we are going to adjourn the Traffic Commission at 6:35. We will be back out at 7 p.m. for the regular Board of Supervisors meeting. Thank you.